Just like puts a it just dampens my whole day.
Yeah.
All right, clap and we're going, man.
It's fucking Mars Day out here, bro. It's fucking Mars Day.
Mars.
It's literally red outside, bro. It's fucking red like Mars.
All right, matches your shirt and beard. Let's go.
You couldn't even see it. Fair enough. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Dana Slick, A Podcast, episode 15. Slick, it's Mars Day in California. How are we doing in Texas?
I don't know what that means.
It's fucking red outside, bro. I don't know what's happening. Whatever the date is, September 9th. Okay, Slick, tell me where I'm wrong on this one. So, a lot of us watched the Republican National Convention or the Democratic National Convention. Don't want to get too topical here, but way too many stories in there. Way too many like personal, empathetic appeals to emotion. How do we get that out of the way of dealing with actual numbers and facts? Because I think we have to. So maybe I'm wrong on that. Where am I?
Right. So I think here's where I think you might be wrong. And so politicians, they have to appeal to human nature to get. People are not perfectly rational. Like the was it Homo economicus does not exist. Like the it doesn't exist. Dan doesn't exist.
You didn't make that up. You still have it somewhere.
No. Yeah, no. I'm completely citing. That's like a thing. Like the economical man is like a thing that is like talked about in economics textbooks. And but thinking of humans as perfectly rational, we need to politicians are above all this. It's like if anything, they're the people who by telling a good story and really connecting with people, they're showing people that they care enough to learn that skill, and they're like normal. Like they're showing some at least modicum of normalcy.
Yeah. You're so fucking right. I'm wrong on this one. We need more stories out of politicians. We need more
in fact,
BS
only,
and noise and just
only
fluff.
stories.
We need more fluff. It's like, well, that's the thing. It's like, ideally we did live in a society where, but even if we did live in that society, like, I don't know, would that be any fun? Would it be any fun to like live in a society of stories if everyone was just like completely rational and like didn't get swept up in the moment? That's what's like fun about being human. That's why like future generations with artificial intelligence in their brain, like they might have more productivity and be less shitty to each other, but will they have as much fun? I don't know.
Yeah, I think as humans get more self-aware of our own like the shortcomings of our nature, that's when we can move the chains forward. But
that's what I think. Like, how do we? It could be even like a creative incentive thing, but it's like, how do we just find a way to like get that little like snap like in our brain, like I'm getting lost in the spell right now. Like it's fun, but I'm like it's happening. You know what I mean? Like, but maybe if you can still find a way to like enjoy it. But I don't know.
All right, shut up, Dan. It's my turn. Okay, so here's your logical fallacy. So situation is, so something terrible happens. Something it hurt many people, and someone comes along and says, oh well, you know what? That's just human nature. So like, why? That's just something humans do. Like, we're animals. So like, that makes it okay. Or the reverse would be like, oh well, that's so unnatural. That's awful.
That's pretty cold-hearted. The example you might have cited. I feel like the pre-show versus this one was a little bit off. I guess the unnatural thing is, I guess we kind of.
It's an appeal. I kind of give it away, but it's an appeal to blank is the fallacy, just like all the other.
It's kind of an appeal to tradition, an appeal to like what we know in some ways. It's like something we as humanity can kind of define what is natural and unnatural at this point in time.
Yeah, I think that's the deeper question. But
we're not like bound to just our DNA anymore. Like, that's because we can do the storytelling thing, so we can change what the stories are.
So it's called the appeal to nature, right? It's like, that's unnatural, it's bad. That's natural, it's good. So here's my thing with that. I really don't like how we've categorically separated humans from natural things. So like, I think we should see even things like cities and civilization. Like, why is that being considered an unnatural thing? Like, it's come from the biology of the Earth. Creatures there have created this. Like, why are we separating that? Like, we think we're so much better than like animals? Like, what the
fuck? Yeah, man. We have like the prefrontal cortex and shit. They don't. I don't know. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
I think it's just like I think it's an extended phenotype. Have you heard of that? Have you heard of that idea?
Yeah, that's the Dawkins idea, right?
Yeah, it's a really cool one. And I think anything that humans create, I think is you can see through that lens, and it helps you kind of give yourself some humility. It's like, we're just creatures. This is what humans do. Interesting.
We're just stardust like the rest of them. Yeah, I think it's definitely like a way to feel more connected to nature, even though it seems like we're kind of thrust out of it, but really not. So I would agree. Slick. I would agree. Appeal to nature. Okay, create the incentive. Let's see if this one's a little bit better than the last. The idea that I'm playing with here is maybe it's around changing a social norm, but you see a lot of folks when people croak, when people kick the bucket. Oh man, that guy was the best. He's the nicest. He had the greatest stories. The sweetest guy ever. How do we create a social norm or create an incentive to tell those stories about that person so they can actually feel it? Kind of how can we create an incentive where people are actually able to hear their own eulogy, for lack of a better way to describe it?
Here's an idea. I've done this with a couple of friends. I should do it with more, but if you go out to a bar and you're just like kind of shooting the shit, and it's not that exciting. If you're there with like people you've known for a while and you're comfortable with, one really cool thing to do is to do toasts. So you just like you toast the other. Say I did it with like 3 friends in Austin once, and you just go around the table. It's like, all right, I'm gonna toast you 2. You're gonna toast the other 2, and just go around. And it leads to some really cool. You remember some cool stories. You have some nice conversation. And you're just kind of celebrating each other and like the friendship. So I'm a big fan of toasting. I think toasting needs to be more.
Toasting is exactly what we don't need. We need less toasting. We need more roasting. What I did for my birthday this year, it was like the middle of the pandemic. It was early May. I was not in a good. I was like pretty out of it, mental health wise. I mean, it's all relative. I was pretty down. I think most people were. I asked my friends. I was like, from my hometown. I was like, hey, I don't ask much for my birthday, but will you roast me for this one? So there's like 3 of my buddies from growing up. 2 of them did a decent job. One of them did do his fucking homework, but anyway, it's more of a roast. But I think people should do birthday roast. I don't know. Maybe there is.
I thought your point was like we need to celebrate people more.
But I feel like a roast is like a good way to. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe I'm just a fucking walking contradiction here. I don't know. A roast is like a good way to create an authentic way to talk about someone, but still kind of honor them in a weird way. I don't know, maybe it's just the Irish in me. I don't exactly know. We kind of really like to compliment each other. But anyway, I think we solved that problem. Look at us. We're fucking solving so many problems today.
Exactly. All right, Dan, here's your magic wand. So you have solved chaos theory. You can now predict the weather. Very exciting. So what do you do with this knowledge? Do you make millions in real estate for the next 10 years of weather patterns? Like, what do you do with this magical power?
Yeah, all the above. You create the. You could just watch the world burn and be like, "Ooh, these people are fucked in the future." Like that would be like the sociopath, and he kind of wants to do that. Or you can just create the greatest business ever, where you can just kind of predict everything. You can bet on weather. Like there's so many degenerates they'll take bets on weather. Will it rain X amount of inches this fall in California? I would just bet on everything like that. Maybe create a business. You can do some selling to vacationers, what have you. Hey, what's it going to look like when you go to Florida in the month of December?
You would keep the information selfishly and not share this with the world.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's my information, of course. Are you kidding me? Why would I share it with the world? It's fine.
Dies with you.
American.
Dies with Dan, the weather of the world. I think it's always so crazy we can like predict the stars out thousands of years and we just have no idea what 2 weeks weather will look like. Well, I mean, we have an idea, but like, multiple months ahead, no idea.
Interesting. Interesting. I guess I haven't thought much about that. Yeah,
It's chaos theory, dude. You need to look up chaos theory. It's like life
Sure,
changing. I don't understand. When I read it, I was so mad about all my scientific classes ever.
Yeah.
It includes college. Like, I mean, we're not that old. Like when I was taking like college level physics classes, like we finally got to modern physics, and in modern physics, you're like, oh yeah, everything you learned wrong. And it's like you're 20, right? You're like, oh, why didn't we do
What's
this
the rest of
first?
your education? It's like, I don't know, there needs to be an infinite mindset to it, because everything you learn, what you learned 5 years ago isn't going to be as relevant today as it will be 5 years from now. It's like,
It was just dumb because I just felt like, just tell me the real stuff first. Like, why are we learning the mistake? I don't know. It was
what would you do? 10 seconds or less. What would you do with your...
So if I had unlimited weather knowledge, I think I would just, it would prove everything right about climate change, probably. Or wrong. I mean, whatever. We can stop messing around with that. So.
Okay.
Clap, Dan. We gotta clap.
Oh,
There we
double
go.
clap.
There we go.
Those are shitty claps. There's a better one. Third clap. Third clap's a charm. That reminds me of, there's one episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm that Larry gets mad at the local weatherman because they're at the same golf club, and the weatherman keeps predicting rain. On like Saturday and Sunday mornings, and like no one goes out and golfs, and then he just gets the perfect tee time, and Larry's like, "Oh, what the fuck is this? What are we doing?"
That's a great one.
That's pretty funny.
Man. I don't
Pretty
know
funny.
I mean, I think, the weather affects so many things. I mean, like, it could help with world hunger, letting all
Right.
farms
Yeah,
everywhere,
growing
like
crops and stuff. Yeah, that would be
being,
huge.
being smart with like allocating resources, and we're not going to lose huge crops of I don't know. I'm trying to think how it could be used in a bad way if we know what the weather's going to be like, but I'm like, I don't really know. I can't think of too many bad ways it would
Maybe
be
you could
used.
start to find a way to manipulate it. I don't know, because then it's like, if everyone, well, that's the thing about it, is like, if I knew the weather, I could find a weird way to manipulate it if I had the technology.
Well, and we can
then
just
it's like,
avoid every like hurricane, typhoon craziness.
right.
Just like
Yeah,
we
you
see,
could be
we
like-
know it's coming. Like, if you're not prepared, it's basically just like obesity now. It's like that's your choice.
Oh, jeez. That's a little bit of a hot take there, a little hot. But yeah, I hear you, man.
I'm talking about American obesity, which is like, I think different than
You think?
in
I don't
a
know,
healthy.
dude. It's like, do people really have I mean, if all they know and all they have access to is like really shitty low quality food, it's like.
That's my point. It's an ignorance and access problem. So like if you solve that, then I think those problems go away, right?
Yeah. No, I agree.